In World Challenge, we aim to find projects or small businesses from around the world that have shown enterprise and innovation at a grassroots level. In World Challenge, you'll discover how small projects and businesses could really make a difference for a community, for the environment. In this episode, we present 3 projects in 3 countries. No Beating About the Bush in Namibia, Love-n-Haiti in Haiti, and Solar Sisters in India. The cheetah is the world's fastest land animal, with a top speed of more than 110 kilometers an hour. But this most speedy of the big cats could be heading for extinction. The biggest threat to its survival is loss of habitat. In Namibia, where 1/5 of the world's cheetahs live, thorn bushes are taking over, suffocating the open plains that these fleet-footed cats need to gather speed to hunt. Laurie Marker of the Cheetah Conservation Fund has a possible answer.
Here's an animal that is, the fastest land animal and one of the most beautiful creatures on Earth, and we're losing it. With about 10,000 cheetahs left in the world, there is a way that we can actually save them. I started working with cheetahs about 35 years ago, and it was at a wildlife park in America. The numbers were declining, and I thought, well, gee, somebody should really try to help save these wild cats. I always say it's the they factor, that they'll take care of it, and I became the they, and moved here permanently to set up our international base for cheetahs around the world.
To protect the cheetahs, conserving their habitat is key. In Namibia, the thorn bush is growing out of control, threatening their survival.
But the areas that cheetahs like to use most are areas where they can have quite a visibility. And those areas are also areas where there's a higher amount of wild game population. The bush is so thick that the animals can really not even penetrate into there. And the way the cheetah hunts is, say, open plains hunter. They can't really run that way in this thickened bush. We actually found that cheetahs were scratching their eyes and many times going blinded. We think from scratching their eyes from hunting in this thick bush as well.
This is a woodland savanna, a mixture of bushes, trees, and grass. But it should be a more open woodland savanna. Due to the influence of man, due to fire suppression, overgrazing, and removing the large browsers, the rhinos and the elephants, the balance has gotten out of balance. Eventually the woodland canopy even closes, the bush gets so dense.
Millions of hectares of grassland and farmland are being overrun by the thorn bush. It now covers 14% of Namibia's land, an area the size of Cuba.
We have got 3 key species that are currently outcompeting the rest. This is one of them, which is what we call Acacia flecky. And then there's another one which is called the umbrella thorn. This is a typical encroached area. If you look at, for example, the stems, there's so many stems actually clumped together. There isn't really much space even for animals to go through. And when these bushes actually establish, nothing can stop them.
The whole ecosystem's been affected by the thickened thorn bush. We've looked at the biodiversity, the spiders, to the lizards, to the birds, to the antelope, and the cheetahs. And all of them do better in open savanna habitat.
The thorn bush encroachment is not only bad for the cheetahs and the ecosystem, but also for livestock farmers.
And on some farms, you can maybe keep 10% of the potential animals on that piece of land. Due to the bush that are on that farms, some of the areas is just so thick you can't get into it. So yeah, it's a huge economic impact.
Once now the land is seriously infected by those bushes, the land becomes less productive. As a result, a farmer may not be able to keep a big number of animals. Then he should also reduce the number of workers he employs or she employs. It is actually estimated that the country is losing approximately 700 million Namibian dollars every year.
Some of the farmers are involved in habitat restoration, but a lot of them, since there's no market for the bush, say they can't afford to have people out there chopping it because they get nothing back. And so we're trying to put a value on the bush by developing a biomass industry in the country. This is the real stuff, ready to go in. The main value is the habitat restoration, and in our case even, it's not necessarily the full value we're getting out of selling the block, it's the value we're getting by creating interest in a biomass industry that may utilize other products which will enable people to afford to clear and restore more habitat. Well, at the moment it's quite exciting. There are several different initiatives in place, so to speak, at the moment. There are a couple pellet factories, and there's a serious proposal for a biomass-fueled electric power plant, which will put a lot more people to work.
There are a lot of people who are unemployed. Even if you are driving around town, you can just see them. People are just sitting on the street corners. Here I'm a foreman. It's a good job. Yeah, since I'm receiving the salary, that is, I send them to school, my children, and I buy them clothes during the end of the month, and I'm bringing food, and then I can even save something out of the salary. Let me put it like this, I'm a breadwinner.
This thorn bush that is a huge problem is actually potentially one of the biggest benefits that this nation has.
5 p.m. in Namibia's capital of Windhoek, and Wes Kruger is preparing an African barbecue called a braai to welcome a group of English cricketers. His preferred fuel is bush block.
This bush block, which is fantastic, if I might show you here, this will give you more coals, longer coals, more heat than the normal wood was concerned. So that seals it. All the years we've used normal wood, but you know, you have different type of woods. But when you use this bush block, it's a mixture of a lot of different woods. And it's a very hard compact. And it's the ideal thing. Going great. When you grill just now, you'll feel that heat.
We can harvest the bush, we can make something of it. That means we can have more grazing land for our livestock, which is going to affect our economy, and we can have more wildlife, and that means we can have more cheetahs.
Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and its capital city is one of the most dangerous in the world. In the absence of law and order, a recycling project is helping turn this community around. In Port-au-Prince, official figures are hard to come by, but it's estimated that about 12 out of every 100,000 people are murdered every year. For 5 years, this city of more than 2 million has seen a complete breakdown in law and order in some areas, the so-called red zones. A shaky peace is kept across the country by a United Nations force. One of the most notorious areas is Carrefour Faye. Here there is no employment, no policing. The visible signs of governance are absent. It's an intimidating place to start a recycling experiment. But one has started, initially with international funding, but it's now starting to stand on its own feet. Every day, more than 18 tons of rubbish is collected from the streets. But its aim is to do a lot more than clean up the environment, even to provide employment. The main objective is to bring some semblance of normality, and with it, security. The freedom to believe it's possible to live outside the shadow of endless gang warfare.
It's a sustainable project, a project which maintains peace here, in this area. a project which creates jobs, and when you provide help, it must be the sort of aid that helps you become self-sufficient. That's what really matters.
It's an organisation called the Action Committee for Sanitary Affairs in Carrefour Feuille, or CASCAF, and it operates from this centre for rubbish collection, sorting and recycling. Even in a poor city such as Port-au-Prince, mountains of rubbish are created. Often it ends up in the most deprived areas such as Carrefour Feuille. Project director Eliana Nicolini worked with the community to put the rubbish to use. She started CASCAF in 2006. It began as a United Nations funded project, but it's becoming self-financing.
Esse projeto aqui foi todo desenvolvido com a comunidade.
This project has been developed with the community. This project wasn't dreamed up in an office, but has been worked out with the community.
Foi desenvolvida pela comunidade. Então toda a tecnologia que nós podemos chamar assim, a tecnologia é haitiana.
All the technology is Haitian. The community has helped plan the rubbish collection, the street cleaning, construct the centre and organise waste management, as well as recycling and the production of goods made from waste.
A reciclagem, que tipo de produto que eles gostariam obter dessa reciclagem.
Haiti is a country where a quarter of the GDP is remittances sent home by immigrants. Turning the waste into something useful is vital, and it has in the process brought some normality to a neighbourhood where even the most rudimentary services have long since vanished.
Nós desenvolvemos com a comunidade 50 pontos de coleta.
We've set up 50 rubbish collection points across the district, and the people now leave their waste at these public dumps.
Esse lixo nessas lixeiras públicas. A partir do minuto que a comunidade.
Once the dumps are full, 3 lorries and teams of cleaners collect the rubbish and take it to the centre for sorting and recycling.
Passam por esses 50 pontos de coleta, coletam esse lixo.
Once the rubbish arrives at the waste management centre, it's unloaded from the lorries and the staff carry it to the sorting tables.
Ele é desembarcado. Após o desembarque do lixo no depósito, ele é levado.
Here the rubbish is sorted into different categories: plastic, glass, paper and metal.
Esse lixo é separado em plástico, em vidro, em papel, em metal.
After this initial sorting, the plastic and metal is sold to recycling companies.
E o metal também é para venda direta às companhias.
70% of the district streets are now cleaned daily by CASCAF.
The local authorities don't venture this far, so we've taken on the responsibility of cleaning up the district. The street cleaning team is at work right now. Every morning from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, they come and sweep the streets, collect the rubbish, put it on lorries or in the bins that we've provided pretty much everywhere. Notice that there are a lot of women. They're no longer with their husbands. They live alone and have 5 or 6 children. Some husbands were killed in the violence. Others fled and can't return to the community. Under this project, we give the women work, and now they can pay for their children's schooling, the rent, and provide food for their children.